Hello and welcome to Video Game Hangover. I'm Randy Dickinson and I'm in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Hey there, I'm DJ Ross. I'm in Mountain View, California.
Hey there.
Hey there, I don't know what's happening. It's just every one of these is just a one-off.
You're workshopping a lot of these kind of intros, just kind of throwing stuff out there every week.
Yeah, I'm just, nobody will ever realize how much goes on beyond the scenes here.
Each week here on Video Game Hangover, we talk about the games that have been keeping us up at night. This week we're playing Valheim, Kitty Letter, and Super Mario 3D World.
Kitty Letter?
Letter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Well, Mario, I've heard of that.
You've heard of that one, yeah. That's buried the lead there a little bit, but yeah. It's Mario
Excellent.
Day, and I figured I should play some Mario on Mario Day.
Oh,
and,
I see.
Yeah.
I did not play Mario on Mario Day. Can I keep on hosting the show?
Blocked and
blocked and reported. Yeah. Oh, well, it's about time.
Yeah. Geez, the internet's only gaming podcast. You would think at least you would play one Mario game on Mario Day.
You would think, but that's not quite how it works out. I don't know.
I bought that big, expensive Mario 3D World / Bowser's Fury thing and played all of Bowser's Fury and enjoyed every moment of it and then completely slept on Mario 3D World. So March 10th rolled around and I was like, today's the day.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. So, yeah, I forget you had that thing. Thought you were talking about the 3D collection.
Oh, gotcha.
Busted out one of those.
I have that as well. Yeah, and I've not played much of that, so...
Just a wealth of Mario games that have been dumped on us the last 6 months.
And I've played one of them.
Well, I mean, it's one more than I did, really.
Anyway, how's things? How's life? How are you doing?
It's good. Happy 1 year lockdown anniversary. I think that was last week as well.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Mid-March when things got real weird.
Yep. We're all still hanging in there.
And then continued to be weird for about another year.
Yeah, about a year plus however long. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Played a lot of video games, though. That was exciting.
A lot. Yeah, we played a lot of video games the last year. I think a lot of people play a lot of video games. A lot of Animal Crossing. That's another anniversary that's coming up soon, right?
Yeah, the 20th.
Ooh.
Are you still playing Animal Crossing? Are you still checking in on the daily?
No, I mean, so that's one Mario thing I did, is I checked in. I started checking in again so I could get those Mario items they're selling this month.
Nice.
And all my villagers were like, where did you go? I logged in. It was ridiculous. I logged in and I was still wearing like the New Year's outfit.
Oh, no.
Which is ridiculous because it was my birthday between now and New Year's, and I logged in for that. So I guess I just did that in the New Year's suit also.
At least you weren't running around in your Halloween costume. At least you updated, yeah.
Right. So I think I took down all the Halloween decorations. Yeah, those were gone. I still had a Christmas tree in my house. So I'll time to take this down probably.
Yeah.
Had the little wreath on the door, so I replaced that with something more seasonally appropriate. But it was good. It's always fun. It's an experience coming back to an Animal Crossing town after some time off.
I find it very stressful. I can't even imagine.
Well, I mean, you just check in every single day. Have you even had that experience?
Not on New Horizons. No, I'm still daily on New Horizons, but I had some gaps on. Previous Animal Crossing games. I had gaps on New Leaf after a while, and would go back to it periodically and find a house full of cockroaches and weeds all over my village. And, villagers who were like, oh my God, he's right here. I found him, guys. He's over here.
This is the first time I could remember having cockroaches in the house. So that was a little disturbing. Had to stomp those out.
Oh, is that still a thing in New Horizons?
Apparently it is. Yeah, I can confirm.
I mean, I've not taken a long enough break. I'm not taking any breaks from New Horizons, so I don't. I've not had that experience.
Yeah, well, that's if you ever do, something you can look forward to. I don't
Gross.
think. Yeah, it was kind of disgusting, but they don't go on the bug list, right? Because I completed that and I had never seen them up to this point, so I guess they were excluded for some reason.
Yeah, I guess they're not part of the The museum. That was the thing in New Leaf. You had to let your house get feral so you could catch a cockroach. Yeah.
That's fine. I don't want any roaches in my museum. It's disgusting.
Yeah. Unless they're the giant kind of hissing ones.
Ugh, no.
No? Not your thing?
This is completely unrelated, just since we're talking about disgusting
That's fine.
insects.
We do that here, you know.
Right. One of my friends has been playing Sekiro, the FromSoft game from a couple years ago.
Yes, I do remember that. Yep.
And he's been telling me about it. Telling me how he's doing, making progress on all those bosses. And then the other day, he just dropped this thing on me. It was like, this game has like way more like centipedes than I was picturing. Because apparently, and I don't know if this is just true for the game's mythology or if this is like some sort of Japanese thing, but like centipedes have this very close association with like immortality or prolonged life or something. So the characters in this game, they like pledge themselves to whatever, they do some ritual to give them eternal life, and then they just become covered in centipedes, or like a centipede grows out of them, and I'm just like, oh, that's gross. I don't know if I mean, I don't consider myself to be like centipede phobic or anything, but I could sort of picture myself playing Sekiro at some point. I don't know if like how much that would have put me off just jumping into it and seeing the first boss and it's just like a writhing silhouette of centipedes, or I don't know if that's actually what the first boss looks like, but that's how I'm picturing it now.
Right.
But I was like, wow, that had never come up in any discussion I had heard about this game until now, so it's kind of a shock.
Might be a deal breaker, huh?
I don't know. If it was like, oh yeah, there's a centipede boss at one point, I'd be like, oh, whatever. But if it's like, yeah, every single boss, you gotta stab the centipede that's hanging out inside of them. It's like, I don't know.
It sounds like a lot. Yeah. I don't know. I don't have a problem with bugs. I mean, I don't like bugs like on me or in my house, but
sure,
I'm interested in bugs. If there are TV shows on like Discovery about like, look at these weird insects, I'll watch them.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but I don't. I don't need them in my house. We had, when we first moved into this house in Harrisburg, we had a little silverfish thing going on in our house. And it would be one of those things where like I would go into the bathroom and flip on the light and there'd be one on the wall and just like my heart would stop and I have to scramble to find a slipper or a magazine or something horrible like that to, extinguish its life.
Yeah.
But generally don't put myself in situations where there could be bugs on me or near me.
No, I don't go out of my way.
Yeah. I'm not like a sitting on the ground kind of person. I see people like just sitting in the grass and I'm like, no, there's bugs in the grass. I'm not sitting in the grass. I will stand, thank you.
Yeah, I don't know if I have that much of a problem. Like I will check out the area to make sure it's not, not sitting on a bunch of centipedes.
You're not like in a anthill or something like that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Want to avoid those. But whatever. I'll sit on the ground.
I'll sit on the curb.
Sit on the curb. Yeah.
I'm about concrete. I'll put my butt on concrete. I'm not in the grass.
All about concrete. Well, anyway, Animal Crossing.
Yay.
It's filled with centipedes, apparently.
There is a centipede in Animal Crossing. That's one of the things on the list. You have to catch one of those.
I'm not thrilled about those, really, because they pop out of the rocks, right?
Yes.
Sometimes I want to be hitting those rocks so I can get the bells or whatever, and a centipede will pop out and it's like, oh.
Yep.
But anyway. Speaking of 1 year in lockdown, something very excited happened this week. Something very exciting happened, which made me excited.
Yeah.
Which was that Red Candle Games came out of hiding. If you don't remember these guys, they published, or they actually developed, and I guess are publishing now, these horror games Detention. And then a couple years ago, there was one called Devotion, which caused quite a stir between the developer and I guess some people in the Chinese government, because I think it was like up for a week, and then it was just disappeared from all online storefronts.
Oh, the game came out.
The game, yes, not the people, as far as I know of.
Yeah.
And then you just couldn't buy this thing because of this controversy. Somebody had left something that was deemed inappropriate. by relevant parties in the game. And it had popped up, I think, late last year. Who was it? It was CD Projekt mentioned, or that they were going to put it on GOG.com. They had finally reached a publishing agreement. And within 24 hours, it just went away again because people started complaining. It was a very dubious complaint that they posted as an explanation. So it just seemed like this thing was just stuck in limbo forever. And if you remember, I actually played it during Extra Life a couple years ago.
I do remember that, yes. You were a big fan. You liked it a lot.
It was really good. It's one of the best games I've played ever. And that it's just tragic that nobody could get their hands on it for the longest time until this weekend. They, Red Candle Games just put up their own e-store, I guess. So that's why I say I guess they're just publishing it themselves now.
Excellent.
And as of this recording, you can you can buy and play the game again.
And we're talking about Devotion is what you mean, right? Is the name
yes.
of the one? Yeah.
Detention survived on Steam and various other platforms. It's on a bunch of the consoles as well. That's also very good. But this is the first time in over a year you've been able to actually buy a copy of Devotion and play it.
And do you know if it's the game as originally released, or has it been sort of revised to appease the Chinese government?
So I don't think the thing that they were objecting to was actually in the game. It was one of those kind of hot coffee situations where somebody just hid it in a secret file somewhere or something like that.
Oh, geez.
That's my understanding. So yeah, that's extra ridiculous. So as far as I know, this is the same version. It's unedited, unaltered from the original release. I mean, I imagine they took out that file or whatever it was, but
sure, you
wouldn't even have come across that if you were playing it anyway.
Well, good. I mean, that's exciting. Again, if it's a good game, hopefully people can get their hands on it. That's good.
Yeah. And, it's a little out of season because it's kind of a spooky game. I like to dip into those around, Halloween time or whatever. But yeah, I was just so pleased to see this thing suddenly pop up. Just
get it while you can.
Yeah. You might want to if it interests you at all. If you're hearing this and you're a fan of horror games with a strong narrative, it's not super horror-y. I mean, it's very spooky. It's very unsettling throughout. But the thing I really liked about both of these games is that kind of the horror element starts out strong, but eventually gives way to just a really interesting story that they've come up with.
Yeah. Nice. Well, that's great. Surprising and I guess impressive that this controversy did not kill these guys. I mean, that's there's I mean, if you make video games, you also have to be in the business of being able to sell those video games, or you probably don't get to make video games anymore. So glad they have a way of ensuring that money continues to come in.
Yeah, I was real worried about these guys for the longest time because they weren't even really talking about their situation. And now they're again, they didn't really explain anything that's happened in the last year plus, other than just be hey, the game is back. It's on our website now, so you can check it out. So
yeah.
We may never know. Who knows? Just wanted to mention because I've been kind of not sure what to think about the future of this game. Anyway,
yeah,
I'll have a link to it in the show post, VGHangover.com. Check it out. I believe it's on PC only, so Windows. But you can you actually download a DRM free copy if you buy it from their shop, so you don't need Steam or insert gaming storefront of your choice here.
Awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
Cool. Excellent. Well, yeah. I'm not aware of any other sort of controversies around any of the other video games that we're playing this week, though.
You didn't hear about that big Mario controversy? I don't know what I'm talking about.
Nope. Did not hear that, unfortunately. I mean, there is the controversy that in, 2 weeks' time, a lot of Mario things are going to disappear out of the eShop.
Yeah, that's pretty lame.
But we've talked about that, and,
right.
We have no control over what Nintendo does.
Even
if it's a bad idea.
Some sort of secret thing going on. It's There's a reason why Waluigi just never gets his own game. Just some bad stuff he did back in the 90s or something.
After we sort of talked about it a little bit last week, I did a little, I think what people sort of refer to as research is just looking things up on the internet. So I'm reluctant to say I did some research.
No, well, don't tell people that. You'd be like, yeah, I was researching exhaustively.
I saw some guy made a YouTube video, and I call it research now. No, I Googled, like, what's the origin of Wario? What's the origin of Waluigi? Because I don't know, where those characters kind of came from. And I don't know that I've played a Mario game where Wario was actually the villain. There's not many. There's just one, I think, right?
I think there are a few, or maybe I'm mistaken. I mean, he was always sort of like villainous.
Yes.
Maybe more than he is now. He was definitely like the villain in that first one. Was it like Mario Land 2?
Yes. Yep.
But they very quickly rolled that into like Wario Land, and you were just playing as him. And I forget who the villain was in those games, but he was always sort of like this kind of unsavory version of Mario. It seemed like. Yeah,
and Right, and the developers sort of envision him less as sort of a villainous character and more of just sort of like, well, Mario is sort of positive and helpful. Wario is just kind of lazy and unhelpful. So it wasn't necessarily about him sort of being, nefarious, just, kind of a shiftless, kind of layabout kind of character.
Yeah, I'd say that's how he comes across, and especially in like the WarioWare games. He's all about the get-rich-quick scheme.
Right, yeah. Waluigi, on the other hand, was mostly not even kind of invented by Nintendo. Waluigi was a character created by Camelot to make sure that Wario had a doubles partner in a Mario tennis game.
Oh, I love it. It's like Wario has this whole like pseudo backstory, and then they're like, "Oh man, we don't have 4 characters in this game."
Right?
Somebody just like changed the color on Luigi or whatever.
Who's going to play tennis with Wario? So now we have Wario and Mario, and no wait, let me do it again. Wario and Waluigi, basically being partners in all of these Nintendo sports games.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah, and that's sort of why Nintendo doesn't necessarily sort of acknowledge or include Waluigi in sort of official Mario things, is because he's not kind of really a Nintendo construction.
He doesn't even exist, really.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like this is very bad for Waluigi's self-esteem and just self-worth. We're saying like his sole purpose is so he can play doubles with Wario.
Yeah. And I mean, the internet sort of loves Waluigi and has, elaborate fantasies about giving him his own open world video games and things like that. But I don't know that Nintendo is so invested.
Oh, if only. I wonder, I wonder how far they have gone to just establish his character in all those sports games that he's in. Because, we know Wario is kind of like all about the gold coins and the treasure and all that.
Yeah.
So we can, like, that follows with the games that he's been in. But if they were going to make a Waluigi game, I don't even know what that would be, unless it would just be kind of like an offshoot of the Wario Land games. Like, is he also all about getting rich quick?
I don't know. What's his thing? What's his motivation? I don't know if that's really been established anywhere.
What's Luigi's motivation? Is it just the mirror of whatever Luigi's into?
I don't know. I think for Luigi, there's kind of 2 kind of versions of that character, because the character he is in the Luigi's Mansion games is very much sort of a lazy character, is somebody who wants to sort of be sitting in his lazy boy chair watching TV.
Right. So he's also Wario.
Right. In a lot of ways, he is the opposite of Mario. But in the Mario Brothers games, he's sort of an enthusiastic participant. It's not like Mario has to kind of drag him along.
Right. He's helpful. He's lazy, but reluctantly helpful.
Sure. If you can get him out of the Barca Lounger, he's
right.
Happy to participate. Yeah.
Well, that would make Waluigi active or like proactive like Mario, but unhelpful?
Yeah. Just an obstacle, an impediment.
Yeah, so maybe if that's the case, maybe he actually seems like he could be more of a villain than Wario is.
Yeah. Yes. That would make sense.
Hmm. Hmm.
Hmm. Anyways, I ended up going down this road because we had the conversation last week about Nintendo characters and Wario, and also playing Animal Crossing. There's Mario costumes you can get in this Mario Day collection, and it's Mario, Luigi, and Wario, but there's no Waluigi costume.
Oh no. Denied again. Like,
Waluigi shafted again, just does not get sort of an official designation or acknowledgement on behalf of Nintendo. So, anyway, I don't know how to find our way back to the other things we were going to talk about, but Super Mario 3D World is a video game I played, and it is tangentially connected to this conversation.
Which you cannot play as Waluigi.
You cannot play as Waluigi or Wario, as far as I know.
Or Wario, right?
Yeah, as far as I know. But yeah, Super Mario 3D World. I don't know what to say about a Mario game except that it's a very good one.
Okay.
3D Land, probably my favorite Mario game, and that is the 3DS kind of predecessor to this. It was it was a 3DS game. It really used the 3D really well. It was in a lot of ways kind of big open world before Odyssey was kind of the big open world. And that you had kind of these dioramas, these spaces that Mario could kind of run around and solve puzzles and do kind of platforming challenges and fight enemies and things like that. And I mean, 3D World very much feels like it's kind of built with the Mario 3D pedigree kind of intact. And in a similar way, it's a series of worlds that all have kind of a connected theme, but they really just kind of drop you in there and give you tons of space to kind of run around and suss out puzzles and take on enemies and all kinds of things, except everything in 3D World has a weird kind of cat tinge to it in a way that's not really explained in the game. It's not like you're in a mysterious cat world or there's a cat villain who has, cursed everybody or anything. It's just suddenly there's a cat suit now and there's cats everywhere. And when Mario puts on a cat suit, he can climb things.
Well, it's like they didn't really explain the raccoon leaf. Leaf, whatever it was in Mario 3.
Leaf, yep.
They're just like, have some raccoons.
Here's another thing. I suppose that's true. Yeah, absolutely. But it's a good time. I'm having a lot of fun with it. And it's, it is funny how many sort of variations on Mario games I play. And they all have here's a little place, here's a little biome, a little diorama for you to go run around and collect coins and beat up bad guys. And there's 3 big coins and you have to collect them all. And if you don't collect them all, you're going to replay that level over and over until you find the missing coin. Over and over and over again. I've played countless Mario games in my life, and every single time I finish one of those levels and I'm like, how did I miss a coin? We're going back. Let's do it again. And go find that freaking coin. So I don't know. There's just something about that button these games push in me that makes me want to sort of collect everything.
Yeah. Was this the only thing? I mean, this was kind of the main collectible in 3D World. There wasn't some other side thing.
No, I don't think I've found anything else that's sort of the main collectible. Certainly coins are everywhere, but...
but this has like stamps, right? Does it still have stamps?
It does have stamps. You're right. There is a stamp. There's... that's an interesting sort of thing. There's a sort of an interstitial screen that comes up between every level of a bunch of sort of grayed out stamps, images of things sort of pulled from the game. And there is a color stamp hidden somewhere inside each level. And if you find the little ink stamper, you get a little cutscene where it stamps that image onto the screen and fills in one of those grayed out images. So there's a ton of them too. So there must be a lot of these things hidden in this game.
So what do you actually do with these in this? Because on the Wii U, it was like a Miiverse thing. Remember Miiverse?
I do remember Miiverse, yeah.
Where you could like go on and post in the Super Mario 3D World forum, I guess, and you could put a bunch of stamps on your message, which was cool. But that doesn't exist anymore, and there's no real analog for it on the Switch.
Right.
So why collect stamps other than just for collection's sake?
I think that's it, just to have one more thing that you have to look high and low for in each level.
Oh man, but so you can't even like send somebody a message, stamp boo all over it or whatever.
Not that I'm aware of. No, if that exists, it's cool, but I've not found it. No. But yeah, it's a good time. I mean, you have 4 characters available to you in this: Mario, Luigi, Toad, and Princess Peach. You can play local or online co-op up to 4 players with all of those characters running around these worlds at the same time. If you're playing solo, as I am, you can hit a little random button between each level, and it will give you one of those 4 characters sort of randomly as you jump into it. And they all have their own slightly different moveset. Mario moves like Mario, but Princess Peach has like a little kind of floaty, kind of hovering, jumping, landing thing. And Toad runs super fast, and things like that. I forget what Luigi's little hook is, but they all are sort of slightly different, and gives you kind of a slightly new kind of fun way to approach the levels.
So you're playing as Princess Peach in every single level, right?
Just to get that floaty jump, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I like Peach. I think she's kind of fun, and it does take some of sort of the necessary precision out of some of those tougher jumps. But no, I keep it on random. I just sort of do luck of the draw and see who it assigns me. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if I don't think you played the Super Mario Brothers 2 on the NES.
I did play that. Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yep.
Because I remember back in the day that was the thing, because that was the first time you could play as alternate characters, and it was all about the princess. It's just like, wait a minute, you can play a Mario game where you just can hover and you don't come down after a jump? Why wouldn't I do that?
Why would I? Yeah, why would I pick any other character?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does take some of the platforming challenge out of it. So I think I spent more time in 3D World playing as just probably Mario or some non-Peach character. But I did really appreciate the throwback.
Yeah, it's good if you have someone in your house who is not a great precision platformer, or is either super not coordinated or maybe is a small child or something like that. Then that's probably a good character for them to play with. It gives them a little more fidelity, and a little more, I don't know, forgiveness.
What are you saying about my character preferences?
No, I mean, I have a similar preference. Trust me, I gravitate towards that myself. But no, I think it's smart. I think it's a smart way of improving accessibility in a game rather than making it a menu slider. Which I'm all about the menu sliders. I have no problem with those.
Sure.
But roll in a cool new character that has a hook that allows her to kind of land a little more slowly.
Just imagine what kind of crazy stunts Waluigi could get up to if he was playable on this.
I think he's like 9 feet tall. He wouldn't even need the cat.
I was just thinking, what would he do? He would just squeeze through a narrow gap because he's so spindly.
Yeah.
Princess Daisy would just punch enemies dead with her fists. I don't know.
Is that her thing? She's a killer right hook.
I feel like that's her thing. I don't know why that is. She just seems very aggressive to me.
But it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's a beautiful game. I mean, it's a modern Mario game. You really could not do much worse than this kind of thing. It's tons of content. I've read that upon completion, there is yet a 5th character you have access to. And it repopulates the world with a bunch of new challenges and stuff like that. So you kind of go back and tackle it again. So it's, Jesus, kind of endless Mario machine. Just gives you tons of content. I remember 3D Land having a cool conceit that after you sort of finish the entire game with Mario, it kind of flips everything and lets you replay it with Luigi as the star. So it's cool that sort of 3D World has kind of maintained that structure, and that upon completion of the game, surprise, there's more game and a whole new character to play with.
Yeah.
So cool. I love that. I think it's a good time.
Yeah, it's always a nice. I mean, I don't know if it was if it really helped them to to just create this precedent of play the whole game again as another character in 3D Land. Because now, admittedly, whenever I get to the end of one of these things, I'm just like, oh, all right, here it comes. What's my big present for finishing this game?
Yeah. It's the post-credit sequence in every superhero movie where you're sort of like,
Right.
well, that one guy did it, now everyone's got to do it. So everybody sits there in the theater and waits like a tool for the extra thing at the end. So yeah, not a bad precedent. That's cool. I like that. Extra things.
No, it's good. I'm saying from the player's perspective, it's 100% good. I'm just thinking like, oh man, the developers over at Nintendo are just like, we gotta one up ourselves from Luigi the last time.
Yeah. You think you're done building the game. Oh no, you've got to build a whole other game.
Yeah.
And hide it in the end of the first game.
Right. Have you been playing this co-op?
I've not. No, it eggs me on. Sarah won't play with me. There's a limited number of video games where she's like, let me play that. And Mario's not really one of them. Mario Kart, I can get her to play. Dr. Mario, I can't get her away from. But no joy on the Super Mario 3D World. But it asks me every now and then if I'd like to go online and play with others, and I'm curious what that experience is like, because I've heard it's just chaos with 4 characters kind of running around.
I played a little bit of this. Like, I did a few levels co-op. I don't think it worked that great.
Oh, really?
I mean, it felt like... I mean, you've seen you've seen people playing new Super Mario Brothers where it's 4 people on the screen.
Yeah.
And like somebody is just inevitably falling into a pit and somebody else is in a bubble because they already fell into a pit like 2 minutes ago. And it's just pandemonium. And it was kind of the same way in this. I mean, it was very entertaining if you're into just total chaos from the start of the level to the end. But it's not really the Mario experience that I'm seeking out when I load this up.
Right. I tend to be like a methodical consumer of these Mario games. Like like I said, if you tell me there's 100 coins and 3 stars and a stamp hidden in a level, I'm going to find all of them before I can comfortably move on to the next one. And it doesn't seem like sort of playing in co-op is built for that. It's more of a Mario Party kind of experience where you're all kind of bouncing off each other and griefing each other and stuff like that. So it's a completely valid way of consuming it, but it's generally not how I prefer to play these Mario games.
Yeah. It's cool that there's online though. I don't remember if that was in the Wii U version or not.
No.
I feel like it wasn't. Not 100% on that, but it's nice to have that as an option.
Definitely. I mean, it's exciting whenever Nintendo remembers there's an internet. So
right.
that continues to be impressive in 2021. This game is also the origin of Captain Toad, which I've been a long time fan of. I love that Captain Toad game. I think I bought that on the 3DS and then bought it again on the Switch and then got all the DLC for it and have played it no less than 2 times. So you love the Captain Toad game. So it's exciting when the little Captain Toad cube pops up on the map and I can run over and get a little more Captain Toad fun.
And you're just like blasting through all of these because you're a seasoned Captain Toad veteran at this point.
I'm a pro. They're a little elementary. You can see they're sort of like the levels that are in 3D World were the first of the Captain Toad levels, and it is just sort of like the sketch of a concept. When you play the Captain Toad games, particularly in the DLC levels they added later that were themed after the Super Mario Odyssey, they're super complex and they require a lot of work and a lot of like careful planning to navigate through. And the ones in 3D World feel like a straight line sometimes. Don't feel like there's a whole lot of challenge to them. And I'm like, maybe it's because I've played those other ones so many times. But it is really just, I think in a lot of ways, the developers here sort of trying to figure out what to do with that tool set.
Yeah. It must be fun at least to see these and just see the origin of those Captain Toad games.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, more Captain Toad is always a good thing. I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. And again, it's just one of those things where it's interesting to sort of approach a platformer level with a character that can't jump.
Right, yeah.
I mean, he can jump
the
in the 3D World levels. But when he's Captain Toad, it has the giant backpack on. He can't jump. So you have to be able to navigate those Captain Toad levels without that tool in your arsenal.
It's weird because he doesn't even really use the backpack for anything. He just
it's not like he's
weighs himself down,
pulling tools out of it or anything like that. It's just, a giant backpack.
Yeah. Cool.
I continue to be impressed by the 3D World bundle here. Bowser's Fury is fantastic. It is alone, I think, worth the purchase of this thing. But having certainly Super Mario 3D World in there too is a nice bonus.
This is not going away at the end of the month, right? This is staying around.
I believe so. Yeah, this is not one of the ones they're yanking.
Okay, that's good. That would be a nightmare.
I mean, it just came out. It's been out for like a month, I think, at this point. So.
Right, that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, the other Mario stuff has been out for a whole 6 months at this point, so might as well pull it.
Yeah.
It probably hasn't even been 6 months. I forgot when that came out. It seems like, less than a year for sure.
It was that 3D collection was last summer. I believe it was June or July.
Okay, so It's had its time in the sun.
10 months, that's all you get.
10 months, yeah. If you didn't play it, then clearly you just weren't that into it.
Sucks to be you.
Oh, man, what a nightmare.
Mm-hmm. So,
anyway,
what are you playing?
Speaking of nightmares, I don't know. I played some Valheim this weekend. I don't know how much you've heard about this. It is just the latest thing that is sweeping Steam, or just the PC gaming world. Actually, it might be a little past the hump. It might be a little past the the fever pitch of this game, but you know how it is. I finally got around to it. Finally,
better late than never, DJ.
Right. After this, we're gonna talk about Among Us. No, so it's a Viking kind of survival / exploration game. You're a Viking warrior who I guess has fallen in battle, presumably in battle. I'm not sure what he was actually doing. And now you exist in the Viking version of Purgatory, and it's your job to, there are a bunch of angry, spirits or gods running around, and you have to, calm them down a little bit. Probably by killing them. But, you're a Viking warrior, what else are you going to do? So
this is not God of War.
It's not God of War, no. Although maybe, the recent God of War was all Norse characters, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Oh. Well, I don't know. Maybe we'll run into Kratos at some point. But it just drops you off, and like many other survival games, it is just kind of a randomly generated environment. And it gives you very little direction from the start. And you're just sort of left to fend for yourselves and kind of figure out what to do. Occasionally, this raven will appear, and that is sort of the extent that the game gives you of a tutorial. It'll just say, usually it's whenever you do something new, the raven will pop up and just be like, hey, I noticed you just picked up some wood or something. Maybe you can use that to build stuff. So it's not like you're just dropped in and just overwhelmed with tutorial pop-ups. It's just kind of like this guy appears whenever he has something useful to share with you.
Mm-hmm.
But it starts out, it feels quite a bit like, if you've ever played another survival game like Minecraft Survival Mode, or maybe Don't Starve to some extent.
Right.
You just spend a little bit of time at the start gathering resources, building up a little shelter for yourself, and then it just all compounds from there. You have to build weapons and more elaborate shelters and cook food for yourself until you're strong enough to go and hunt down these gods. And the whole time, of course, you're being just accosted by whether it's wildlife or there are these weird little goblin things that kept finding us. So
And is it Don't Starve a roguelike? If you die, scrap everything, start over from scratch, try again?
No, which is great. I mean, there may be a setting in there where you can make it so it does behave like that, but that was one of my biggest frustrations with Don't Starve. Is you get 1 or maybe 2 chances per map to just survive. But in this, it's a little bit more like an MMO or something. You if you get killed, you drop all your stuff, and then you respawn back at a spawn point, and you can go run and try and get your stuff back.
Oh, excellent.
Which is great. I mean, and it made sense for Don't Starve to be that way. Because, that it's right there in the title. You're
the
just
game is
supposed
called
to
Don't
not
Starve.
Die. And in this one, it's okay, don't die, but also you have to do all these other things eventually, so let's not make it impossible to do that. which is after the little amount of time I spent with Don't Starve, it feels very generous. So I'm just like, oh, good, we can try again. Because it's, I also don't spend that much time in like hardcore survival mode in Minecraft just because I don't like dying over and over.
Right. You feel like you're making progress. Yeah.
I don't even like the threat of that, really. And while there is like the whole main quest in this to go hunt down those gods, you do spend a lot of time, or at least I spend a lot of time, just gathering resources and trying to build a cool shelter, and eventually turn that into something resembling a village, because that was a lot of fun. It is, the building of this is very different than in Minecraft, though, because in Minecraft, you do gather a bunch of resources, a variety of resources, but to some extent, like every block you put down is kind of functionally identical, with a few exceptions. A lot of it is just like, I only had wood, so I just built this house out of wood or whatever. That's not really a huge difference if you had built it out of stone. I guess the wooden house would burn down a lot easier than the stone house, but in 99% of cases, it doesn't really make a difference with what you built your house out of, or just like how you structured your house even. But in this, it's a little more elaborate. You have to, you do still end up using a lot of wood, but you have to be more conscious about, building a house that kind of makes sense. So that means actual walls that you select out of a menu, kind of like in Fortnite, actually. So you, select some wall panels, and eventually we wanted to put a roof on the house, and you use thatching to do that. And that was also kind of an experience, because I don't know if we were just doing this wrong, or we just weren't great at building houses at the start, but we tried to put a bunch of thatching on as a roof, and it just all collapsed. And then we realized, we need to put, what do they call them? Some rafters up to support the thatching, I guess.
Right.
Before the roof works.
Duh.
Yeah, so we learned that lesson very quickly. But there are just so many sort of house parts that you can select from in this menu. You can kind of see, we actually get real smart about this. We could build some pretty fancy looking houses. And sure enough, later on I went on the Steam page and so just looked at the promo screens that they have for this, and there's a shot of basically a Viking city that somebody has made. There's this huge kind of lodge at the center of it, and all these little houses off to the sides with very fancy looking roofs. So I thought, well, that's something to sort of aspire towards.
So it's more like a Dragon Quest Builders kind of scenario where you're designing the things you're constructing. It's not, you're not pushing the house button and everybody kind of gets a cookie cutter house.
It's a little more mindful than in the Dragon Quest Builders sense, where you have to actually use specific blocks at certain points. Right. So that was a lot of fun, because as much as I like building stuff in Minecraft, it's nice to see something that's this is, a house that's actually made out of discrete housing pieces rather than just a big stack of cubes.
Cool.
An exciting moment was when I realized we could actually put a floor in the house, because the first shelter we made, it was just, let's get some walls up as quickly as possible and a roof so it doesn't rain on us while we're asleep. And then we found an abandoned house, because sometimes you would just come across other settlements that have been left there by the game. And we're like, oh man, this house has wooden floors. Imagine that. So, carry that on to the next house we put up.
It's like watching a home improvement show and sort of feeling inspired to make your house better.
Right. Yeah. It's taking notes. Floors.
Right. The Property Brothers present Valheim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should have seen it when we got a door on the house. That was also exciting.
Were you born in a barn? Of course you have a door in the house. Cool. So do you, follow-up questions, do you see, because this has been everywhere, I can't go to a video gaming blog without at least some sort of daily post about Valheim. Do you see the appeal? Why is this a big deal?
I mean, on some level, survival games like this are just very compelling, because it's like the loop. You go out and gather resources, you build up your stuff. You kind of like level up in an RPG way. Like the more you do certain activities, the better your skill for that activity becomes. And then you go hunt these things. But like I've only played it about 5 hours at this point, which like seems like a lot, but also it doesn't seem like a huge amount of what you can actually do in this game.
Mm.
Because it like eventually you have to go out and hunt down all these gods and stuff.
And you're just building houses.
I just want to build a house. Like I'll just like God's not bothering me. I'll just leave him alone. But I know eventually you need to travel.
With a fence to keep that guy out. Yeah,
we did build a fence. Yeah, that becomes a problem. But I know you travel to like different biomes. There's like a snowy mountain area, of course. And I've heard like eventually you have to build a boat and sail to other lands, which is like, oh, how big is this game exactly? So I don't know just how much it kind of expands beyond the initial sort of building and basic exploration. But who knows? Maybe it goes to some crazy places. But even if it's just sort of this, build a settlement here, track down the local god and kill him, and then move on to the next area, and you just do that 4 or 5 times. Like, that's still pretty interesting. I could see, like, after you've done that, just going back and seeing if you can do it better the next time. That sort of stuff.
Cool.
So far, we've only tracked down one of the gods, and that was an experience, just having to do that fight, knowing as little about how the game works as we did, and we were very woefully under-equipped. But it was entertaining, and I can, if that continues to be the loop, I think it's I can definitely see us getting through it to the end.
Cool. You keep saying we, so you're co-oping this? Oh
yes, I'm playing this with it's like four friends. We had a group of 5 in our settlement. I had to count out how many people were actually in there so I could build the appropriate number of beds for the dorm.
And are you Princess Peach in this game?
No, that wasn't an option.
No.
I am just a grizzled-looking Norse guy.
That sounds about right, yeah.
Yeah, I know. How unimaginative. But it actually worked out pretty well because you can all be on the server at the same time. I stayed back at the camp for a large part of the early game to just kind of get the housing established. I was like chopping down a bunch of trees, and then meanwhile a few of my friends would go out and they would just kind of explore, see what was out there. That was how we found the first god to hunt down. There's a little more to it than that, but I'm just kind of simplifying for brevity.
Sure.
But it's been cool just because, we can all get on chat and just kind of tell everybody what we're up to. At some point we found a dungeon, which is kind of like a separate instance thing. You just all go in there and try and get some treasure and fight off all the scary skeletons in there.
Ooh.
So a lot of it actually is just we jumped into this not knowing much about it. So it's just been an interesting journey discovering how houses work, and there are dungeons you can get into, and how do we actually summon this god in the first place. So I kind of recommend going into it. If you have the patience for it, not looking up the top 10 starter tips for Valheim, and just trying to suss out how the game works a little bit.
Yeah. Well, particularly if you're going in as kind of a social experience too, obviously it makes it a little more fun if you're all kind of starting from zero.
Yeah, that was very good. Everybody was like, "Man, how did you get a club?" It's like, I just made it out of this branch. How did you get a branch?
And now I'm the king. Yeah.
Right.
Excellent.
I'm not sure how people are playing this or what the most popular way to go about this is, because it seems like when we logged in, first of all, there's a PvP setting that you can enable, which I did not enable because I don't need that. But another thing we noticed is that for the longest time we did not show up on the mini-map to each other, which was kind of made it a challenge to communicate where stuff was happening.
Oh, weird.
And there's actually a little option on the map that you have to check just so you can be seen by other players. I thought that's weird that it's not on by default. Unless you were playing a game where that would be a problem. It would make you vulnerable to other people who would try and hunt you down or something. So I don't know if people maybe they're approaching this from kind of a DayZ perspective, or every man for themselves. Because you can, like, if you kill somebody and they drop all their stuff, you can just take all their stuff before they can run back to their corpse and retrieve it. So I guess if you're really into the PvP component of it, that could be another reason why people are so excited about this.
Right. And PvP means peopled by other people.
Yes.
Populated by other people. Yeah.
Right.
Player versus player.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, gotcha.
Because one thing it's kind of different is from Minecraft or Don't Starve or other survival games. It's like I mentioned, you level up your skills the more you play this. Mm-hmm. You can actually take that character and you maintain those skills if you join other worlds with that same character. So, I don't know, maybe you've just like leveled up your guy so much you can just hop into another world that has PvP on and just grief everybody if that's your thing. I mean, you could also jump in and help them out with your, your incredible prowess at this game, but leave that up to you.
I'm sure it's solely being used for good and not for evil.
Oh, yeah. I mean, gamers, just great bunch of people.
Yeah. I've heard that.
So that's the first thing everybody says about that little group of people. But like I said, I haven't played it for too long. I'm having a pretty good time with it, though. Definitely plan to go back if...
Oh, you're going to stick with it?
Like, yeah. Even if it's just to, build a nicer house. I would like to make it into some of the other areas. Like, I love to build a house in the snowy area. That sounds exciting. Maybe kill a few, animal spirits or whatever while we're there.
Maybe we just need to find you a video game, DJ, where you just build houses.
Yeah, well, why couldn't this be it? I don't know.
Isn't there like that house flipping video game? Isn't there one where you buy a ramshackle house and you make it pretty and then flip it for more money and take that money to buy a new house? Isn't that one just called
House Flipper?
I think it's just called House Flipper, yeah.
Yeah, well, so that one, I think you're just like cleaning up the house, which sounds like I don't want to do that. It's just chores.
I want to build it and let somebody else clean it.
Yeah, I mean, on some level, this is also just chores. Because I did spend a lot of time just like chopping wood and stacking it in a pile outside the house so we could build stuff with it. But I don't know. It was just so like relaxing to do in this. I don't want to clean my kitchen, but I will for sure go chop a bunch of fake wood as a Viking in a video game.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
You know how it is. You play Animal Crossing.
Yes. Yeah. I was just going to say, I identify with that, with a sink full of dishes, but my Animal Crossing house is immaculate.
Right.
Yeah.
God, just think how much of a time sink that would be if you could design your own Animal Crossing house. Maybe for the next one.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're decorating one, but you're not actually like designing the outline of it.
You can't like decide you want the roof to slant a specific way or that kind of stuff.
Well, cool.
Yeah. So that was actually, very pleasant surprise. Definitely will go back to it. And I will keep you updated if anything changes significantly.
Excellent.
So we got a little time. What's up with this kitty letter game?
Kitty letter. Yeah, this is a fun little mobile game. This is on Android. It's also on iOS. It's the Oatmeal. Are you familiar with the Oatmeal, DJ?
I love Oatmeal. Oh, the comic strip.
The comic, yeah. It's a web comic, and he has also gone on to create Exploding Kittens, a card game and a video game as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now he has an app.
He has another app because he has the Exploding Kittens app, but he also has now made Kitty Letter, which is the product of lockdown, of quarantine, is him sitting at home, channeling his creativity into making this wacky, fun little video game that, by his own admission, he said sort of probably took more time and money than he intended to, but we all need hobbies at this point. So yeah, he made a video game that sort of combines, I don't know, bookworm with tower defense.
Let me think about this for a second.
Yep.
Okay.
So you have a nice house on a quiet street, and an annoying neighbor has moved in across the street, and they have thousands of cats.
Sure.
And they continue to send cats across the street to attack your house.
Why would they do that?
Because they're horrible cat people.
Okay.
And
it's not generalized, but this one neighbor.
Sure. And your defense is to spell words and send your cats across the street to sort of attack them back.
Oh, you have your
so
own
a horde of
cats
will come at you with they'll have a letter D floating over their heads. And you have to, on a little grid of random letters at the bottom of your screen, spell as many words with the letter D as you can to then sort of send a fight, an attack back across the street at your neighbor.
Okay.
And meanwhile, from the other side of the screen, a horde of cats is coming with the letter S. So you've got to spell some S words. And then, so you keep sort of volleying attacks across the street at your neighbor by spelling words in their direction, given the letter of the cats that are attacking you.
Okay. So you're being attacked from all sides in this.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it's just across the street. You're going back and forth. But
okay, got it.
Yeah. And there's other little hooks to this. Occasionally, deer will walk by and they have their own, special little hook that goes with them. And there's other things that happen in the course of. It's a neighborhood, so there's some little deer that will walk by.
Like enemy deer?
No, they're just an extra thing. They're like an additional condition. They're a pickup or they're a new weapon or something like that. And so yeah.
All right.
Yeah. There's it's a weird little game. There's a very robust sort of single player experience where it's you sort of combating the computer and learning all the hooks of this thing. Between sort of instances, between sort of combat missions with your neighbor across the street, there's like comic book panels and story that the Oatmeal has sort of drawn and scripted in his own very specific sort of sense of humor and art style.
Sure.
That you will sort of click through to get you to the next mission and the next fight with your neighbor. Yeah. And in addition to that, there's online battles where you and another human being can send cats at each other and try to outspell each other.
Oh, man. Is that in real time?
It is also in real time. Correct. Yeah.
Oh, it sounds stressful.
It is a little stressful. I mean, it's stressful in the way that Pixel Junk Monsters is stressful.
Okay, that's very stressful.
Yeah. So when the wave starts and the monsters come storming through your village, you're on. It's showtime. And if you're not ready, well, then screw you because you're going to get eaten by monsters. Okay. So, that's tower defense, right? That's the thing.
So wait, how much can you prep for this? Do you get just the letters ahead of time and you start thinking about your words, or
yes, yeah, you get your little kind of swirling vortex of letters at the bottom of the screen, and you start thinking about like what words do you see.
I see.
Yeah,
got it.
And they will like swirl up occasionally and switch to different letters throughout the course of a battle. So if you had a few in your mind that you were planning on deploying, those might go out the window as the letters swirl in and new ones kind of drop in. So yeah, and the good news is that sort of each of these little sort of fights is pretty quick. There are a couple of minutes of battle, assuming sort of the battle goes in your favor. I imagine they probably go a little bit longer and feel a little more stressful if you're losing, but I've been holding my own fairly well. But it's fun. It's a good time. Online? I've played a little bit online against other people. Yeah, I've mostly been playing the single player.
Oh, okay. I thought you were just like, I've been just wrecking the leaderboards in this game.
No, definitely not that. I've done okay online. I've not won every round, but I win a fair number of rounds.
Okay. I'm a little disappointed. I think of you as a guy who knows many words.
I do know a lot of words, yeah, but I buckle under pressure sometimes.
Okay, yeah.
I start to
see what that's like.
Yeah, I like watching like what's the show with Jane Lynch where she asks people questions?
Is there only one of those?
Not The Biggest Loser. The Weakest Link, that's the name of the show.
Is she on that now?
She
shows you how much I watch TV.
Yeah, I know you don't do TV, DJ, but she hosts the new version of it. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's really good.
I can see that now.
I like that show, and like I will sit and I'll watch it, and she'll say the question, and I know the answer to all 9 times out of 10. I know the answer to the question, but I know that if I was standing there with the lights and with Jane Lynch and with all these people relying on me and all this money at stake, that it would just be a nightmare. That I would just be a blathering fool.
And she's gonna just take you down if you mess up a question like that.
Yeah. I mean that's what we're all here for, is Jane Lynch making fun of you as you walk off stage. Yeah.
Okay, no, I get it.
Yeah, that show's a delight, by the way. It's on Hulu if anybody wants to watch it. I would recommend. But I feel similarly in these sort of word combat games. Like, I know a lot of words. Like you said, I can spell stuff good. But put somebody else on the other end and have them continue to chip away at my house while I'm trying to chip away at theirs. And it just, I get flustered.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I would go for that. I have spent enough time getting trounced in Bookworm back in the day. I like to think that I can spell words too, but who knows what would happen if that went online.
Yeah, but it's good. It's a lot of game. Like I said, a pretty lengthy single player, not to mention sort of as many online battles as you can stomach. And it's free. The whole thing is free. There's not tons of ads in it. There are a few little things you can sort of buy from him to support development, but they're absolutely not mandatory. So it is really just kind of a nice gift from the oatmeal of this fun game that you can play. It has cross-platform play, too, which is super cool. So if you have friends who are iOS and your team Android or whatever, you can play against them, much like Exploding Kittens as well.
Nice.
Yeah. So this is a Kitty Letter. It is available in your app store of choice. Would recommend.
Cool. I will maybe check it out and then never play it online.
Yeah, just play the single player. It's fun and kind of goofy and silly.
Yeah. See if they've invented any new words since I've been in quarantine.
I like trying to spell the dirty words. I like to see which ones it'll take.
Oh yeah, does it let those through?
It seems to let quite a few of them through, yes. Yep. Yep.
Interesting. I wonder if there's not like a system level word censor.
I've not found one. It would make sense for, if this was a big, I don't know, Milton Bradley game or something like that, it would have a PG mode in it. But I don't know if the oatmeal is quite so dialed into that.
Yeah, that seems sort of in line with his sensibility.
His brand. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So many video games.
Yeah, a lot of cat stuff this week.
Yeah, people love cats.
I've not been able to craft a cat-eared hood for my Viking yet in Valheim, but as soon as I have the chance, I'll definitely do that.
Yeah, you gotta forage some. I don't know what you make that out of.
I don't know.
You have to grow
a lot
cotton,
of it's been
weave
leather.
the cotton into hats.
Yeah. I don't think we have a sewing station. I gotta make one of those.
Get on that. All right, well, let's wrap this thing up. If you need any more video game hangover in your brain, you should definitely follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/VGHangover. And keep in mind, you can always get show notes and links and tell us what you thought about the episode at VGHangover.com.
Yes.
We would love for you to join our Discord, hang out with us, chat about video games. We were, of course, talking about our favorite Mario games last week. What else? We're talking about Deathloop today. We're talking about... what else are we talking about? Other things. You were talking about Devotion.
Sure. Yep. Bunch of St. Patrick's items in Animal Crossing.
Yep. Yeah, we did a little checklist to make sure that we all got our St. Patrick's Day goodies. So yeah, hang out with us in our Discord, chat about video games and assorted other things. You can get a link to that at VGHangover.com as well.
Yeah.
Please subscribe, rate, and review us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, YouTube now, and anywhere else you can get a podcast. And, help us out. Tell your friends about the show.
Yeah. Ask your friends about their favorite Viking crafting recipes or something like that. Tell your friends that somebody desperately needs help with playing Valheim. Maybe they'll assist. Oh, man. We want to give thanks again to Felly Kitty for our intro and outro music this week. please head on over to fellykitty.bandcamp.com. Check out some more of our stuff. There's a lot of good stuff on there.
Awesome. All right, we'll be back next week. Until then, this is Randy Dickinson.
This is DJ Ross.
Thanks for listening to Video Game Hangover. Goodbye.
Good night.
See ya.